All right, we're going to go ahead and start a new video series here, and not to be too lighthearted with the doom, but everybody talks about doom as being something that's going on right now, and I like to put more of a positive spin on it. But for now, we're going to go with daily doom. But we're going to always make light of these things. But I want to show you some things here, guys, today. This is really interesting here. Okay, obviously we know we've been having some earthquakes recently, right? Oh, it looks like we just had a new earthquake over here that's just brand new. But look at this. These are all the earthquakes that we've had. Let me see here. All the earthquakes that we've had, 4 or above. Actually, let's do all of them here. These are all the earthquakes that we've had here in the last week. That thing is huge there in Japan. Look at that. Absolutely ginormous. But let's look over here on the west coast. Let's look here what we've had here in the past day. We have some pretty big earthquakes over here. Actually, yesterday we discovered that part of the highway, a 40-foot section of the highway, fell off into the ocean, which is pretty interesting here. But what I want to do is, so we know we have earthquakes. You know, we're aware of the fact that we're having earthquakes, and here are all the earthquakes that we've been having in the last, few days or whatever. But what I want to show you is something really interesting here. So keep track of these dates for me. September 3rd, 2010. Off the coast of New Zealand was a 7.0 earthquake. February 27th, 2010, there was an 8.8 earthquake in Chile. And obviously, we recall a couple days ago, March 11th, we had a big one in Japan. But let's show you something here. I'm going to go ahead and turn all these earthquakes off. I want to show over here, and you can Google this as well, but it's called the Ring of Fire. Okay, there's actually this whole thing is one big tectonic plate. So we have Chile over here, we have New Zealand over here. Probably ought to put the islands on there. So we got New Zealand over here. We have Japan up here, right? So we had an earthquake over here, we had an earthquake over here, we had an earthquake over here. Now there's lots of pressure building for an earthquake potentially over here to ease the pressure off of that. But that's not what I want to show you. What I want to show you is this. This is a link from NASA. And they've been tracking this comet that's been coming in here, right? So here is February 27th, 2010. Here's the comet that's coming in here. Look, here's Jupiter, here's the sun, here's the Earth, here's the comet. And when we're looking at this, this was a day we had the 8.8 there in Chile. And so, okay, that's interesting. Okay, so some things were lined up celestially, and we had an earthquake. Okay, that happens. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cruise forward until we get to September 3rd, 2010, because that's when we ended up having that other earthquake, in the first one in New Zealand. So let's kick back here, and here we go. So now what I'm going to do is line this up. Let's see here. There's that. All right. So here is Elenin again. Here is Earth. I don't have it completely lined up, but you can see that they are on a straight line. That is the day that New Zealand had its earthquake. Okay, the first one, not the one that they had in Christchurch, which was a 6 point whatever a couple months ago or last month that did all the damage in Christchurch. This one was a 7.0 one that was in New Zealand. And so look, this is how far it is away from the Earth, and it's actually now on this day in September 3rd. It's actually inside of the ring of Jupiter. So here's Jupiter's orbital ring, and so it's now in the asteroid belt, and so it's coming towards Earth. So now let's fast forward this a little bit. And let's go ahead and look and see what it looked like on March 11th. Take a look at that, and we're going to see it's pretty interesting how this is all panning out. Okay, kick back. All right, let's line them up again. Well, they're pretty close to being lined up, as you can see. Not completely lined up, but pretty damn close. And so, actually, looks like, well, the day that it would be, yeah, so it's just obviously putting a huge strain on this planet. And actually, it's more so lined up now than it was before. getting pretty close to being lined up. So now we're also having the supermoon. That's coming up on the 19th. That's where the moon is at its perigee point, where it's at its closest to the Earth in its orbital rotation. And so that is creating a different force here on Earth. So what's interesting is that I don't know what correlation this comet has with the gravitational pull and how it's affecting Earth. But let's take a look at this. Let's just move forward a little bit down the pipeline here, and let's see here as Elenin approaches. Look how close it's getting. It's approaching, it's approaching, it's approaching. And we're just going to keep on cruising in here. And Elenin's coming in, and look, here we got Earth coming in here together. And look at this. Looks like we're getting close to it being lined up again. This time, looks like what on the... It looks like what on the 25th, 26th of September. Let's kick it back a day. Looks like there's Elenin actually inside of Venus and Jupiter's rings, and Venus and Mercury's rings. There's the Sun. There's Elenin. There's Earth. And so, if any of these other earthquakes have been a telltale sign about what's going on, it would look to me that this day right here, we could have some serious earthquakes. And let's look here. So it's getting closer to the Earth. Let's see, when does it actually get to Earth? When is it the closest to Earth? Let's see here. 0.233, 0.32, 0.332. Okay, so it's closest to the Earth on October 17th, 2011. And then we're going to watch it. It's going to keep on, and it's going to be cruising away. It's going to be getting out of our space here. It actually crosses the Earth's orbital plane. All right, so now it's out of the Earth's. It's not out of the Earth's orbital rotation, and now we're safe to go. So look at this date, October 27th. Now I find this actually a little bit peculiar, because if you actually Google October 27th, 2011, there is some interesting evidence out there that is actually the final day of the Mayan calendar, not December 21st, 2012. Some say that December 21st, 2012 was sort of pushed out there a little bit further, so we would be focusing on that date instead of the real end, which is October 28th, 2011. So there's a lot of, just Google that and figure that stuff out here. Another thing I want to show you is that, we are truly blessed to be here on this rock, because look at this rock. Here we are. Here's the Sun. Here's Mercury. Here's Venus. Here's Earth. And here are all the asteroids that's discovered from 1980 to 2010. And we watch this thing cruise through here. You can see here that it's just amazing. All these rocks, and these red rocks are ones that could actually really smack us around. So what I want to say is this: is that these are things that are not in our control. So we can't really worry about them, but it's interesting to know about them, okay? The governments, they're not going to tell us that this big object is coming into our solar system, and it's coming in and it might mess with some things, and it might be affecting things, because what would happen would be then we would all change our consumer habits. We would stop buying stuff. We would all be scared. We'd all be preparing and stuff. So they don't want to freak us out. But it's just really interesting to take a look at this, to see how things are going, and to see that there's some things outside of our control, and all we can really do is love one another, care for one another, have compassion, have respect, and have integrity, because things are going to get hard most likely. These earthquakes that we're having, they're increasing by the day. I mean, it's just amazing how many earthquakes that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis. Every single day, earthquake after earthquake after earthquake. And there's going to be a lot of us that perish. And you know what? That's the way that it goes. I'm not going to turn this into some big religious thing, but I'm a spiritual person, and I believe that we're all here for a reason. We all chose to be here for a reason during this time, and so humanity is waking up. And those of us who do survive this great cataclysm that's coming, and the Mayans have predicted at the end of every cycle there's huge cataclysms. Well, it just goes to show you that if this comet comes through, as they say, then this could be part of the part of the cycle that's actually affected Earth as it's moved into each new age. And the Mayans have predicted at the end of these ages, this is the 4th or 5th time that we've gone into a new age. Every time it has ended in a cataclysm. Why? Well, it looks like this big planetary body or whatever this thing is coming into our system, is affecting Earth in some way. We're having earthquakes, we're having tidal waves, we're having tsunamis, we're having crazy megastorms. And as this thing approaches, we're going to have even more fierce storms. And so these are things to be aware of. I wanted to put this out there. This is actually the first video of the tongue-in-cheek titled Daily Doom. But really, I think that this, if we go through life with more of a love-based approach, this stuff, we're gonna be okay. Some of us aren't gonna make it, and you know what? That's okay. The Earth has a lot of population on it, and some of us are going to survive, and we need to do what we can to help out our other people, help out humanity, and let's evolve. This is a great time for all of us in this civilization to move forward and become more. And so, take a look at this, watch this, and you know what? It is what it is. There's nothing we can do to change this. There's nothing we can do to affect this. We can prepare a little bit, and we can be aware. And that's what's most important, is we want to be aware. They're not going to let us, if this thing is huge, they're not going to tell us this. You got to realize that. They don't want us to know this. But here's some interesting evidence. This is on NASA's website. This is tracking this particular approach of this thing. So take it for what it's worth. And again, much love. I love humanity. I love people. I love the Earth. And hopefully, Earth is going to survive. It's always survived. If we do, who knows? But all I can say is send love, be helpful, be respectful, be awesome. Just be, right? So might sound a little cheesy, but there's a lot of stuff to digest on this video here. But go through it. I'm going to put the links down below on this video and take it from there. But anyways, Godspeed to each one of you, and much love. And hopefully we'll see you on the other side. Hopefully we'll be able to have a conversation on October 29th, right? All right. God bless.